Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk a little bit about the very first issue that just came out for DC's brand new Batman series, starting from issue number 1. Now, this is not like most of the Batman videos I've made on this channel where it's like a mini series or a black label book. No, today we're doing the mainstream series, the current ongoing, which is really exciting because you don't often get a Batman issue number 1. And the reason this one is significant is because it's written by Matt Fraction. Now, if you're familiar with comics and writers and stuff like that, then you probably know that name and you know why that's kind of a big deal. He was the writer for the iconic and I think only long-running Hawkeye series that the Disney Plus show was based off of. And that's kind of like an iconic work. Like, that's one of the biggest Marvel comics ever. It's like one of the most unique. The creative team did such a great job with that book. And so to have him writing for a character like Batman now, I mean, it's pretty exciting. Now, I automatically know that there are some people who are going to be kind of resistant to it. Honestly, I kind of was myself because he's hit or miss. Now, that Hawkeye series was great, but with Fraction's writing style, Clint Barton is kind of a character that you can get away with that with a little bit easier, whereas a character like Batman is a lot different. I know Matt Fraction did a pretty fundamental Iron Man run from what I remember, but then you have stuff like his Thor run where I was reading and binging through this iconic, I think it was Straczynski's Thor series, which was just masterful. It was prime Thor. If you want good Thor comics, read that series. And then eventually he gets off the book and Matt Fraction takes over as the writer, and I read one page and I was like, nah, I'm good. So going into this, there's a little bit of mixed expectations, but it is so good, at least to me. Maybe others won't agree with that because I guess there's kind of a different side to Batman in this, but to me it's great because it's more of what I've said it on this channel before. I've said it in my other Batman videos. I love an emotional Batman. I love a Batman that breaks the mold. I love when they try something new with him. I think he's a character that can get stale pretty easily, and we see a good range of emotions and mannerisms from Batman here. So this story opens up with Jim Gordon just as another beat cop once again, no longer commissioner, getting some coffees on patrol with his partner before Killer Croc jumps off of a building in the middle of a storm, middle of the city, and lands directly on top of a van carrying a bunch of fresh raw meat, like he's some rabid beast starving for some food. Immediately Jim steps in to console his younger partner, saying, "Easy, officer, we're gonna call this one in." And she sits there like stunned, like, why would we call this one in? And being the veteran that he is, he tells her, "Work as a cop in this town long enough and you'll learn. You should always call for backup." And then we cut to Batman with this gorgeous blue costume, blue cowl, blue cape, blue gloves, blue logo, blue trunks. Great. Looks so good. And we see him investigating the building where Killer Croc jumped out of. This huge hole in the side of a wall, as he tells the doctor in the background, "I'm getting pretty tired of this." The doctor responds, "We're as shocked as you, Batman." Waylon Jones self-reported for treatment and could have left anytime he wanted. This containment unit was built to withstand a bomb blast. And overlooking the city, Bruce says, "You're new here, Doctor. Killer Croc hasn't been Waylon Jones for a long time. I try to keep them separate in my mind. It's easier that way when they eventually end up disappointing you." And that right there, I love that. A little bit cynical, a little bit less trusting. You know, Batman's kind of an optimist in the sense that he's trusting that the justice system will work and that these villains will become reformed. So to see him here actively expressing disapproval, disappointment, just showing general impatience, saying, "No, I'm getting tired of this. I'm not giving this villain the benefit of the doubt." It's a little bit interesting. The doctor fights back. "Waylon may be a supervillain to you, but he's a patient to me. Waylon Jones is changing, Batman." And she holds a tablet in front of his face with a file. "He began shedding his skin, but it continued deeper, almost as if he was shedding everything, inside and out." And once again, Batman hands the tablet back, saying, "People never really change." And he goes back to the hole in the wall, as she says, "Tell that to Waylon. He's been exposed to unknown morphotoxins with unpredictable results. He's been regressing. He's gentle, almost childlike. But then," and Batman cuts her off, "but then your mutating, man-killing monster baby wanted to go out and play. He may be capable of great violence, but he's capable of great tenderness too. Curiosity, even. But right now, he's afraid. And fear prevents us from having a say in how our minds respond to the chaos of trauma. It requires time, care, trust." Batman turns to her and says, "These are all things that we're out of, Dr. Zeller. When the police do come, stall. If they find Croc before I do, they'll shoot to kill. In the meantime, I'll do my best to find your patient." And eventually, after reports came out that Killer Croc was rampaging through the park, killing animals in the zoo, Batman's able to follow the trail and predict where he's gonna go next. Batman sits in the driver's seat of the Batmobile, talking to an AI version of Alfred. "Rather moody and silent this evening, Master Bruce. Where, I wonder, are we going?" Now remember, Alfred has been dead for a hot minute in canon, but apparently Bruce is keeping him around. "I'm playing a hunch," Batman responds. "Literal as always, sir. Well done." The AI responds, "Either that doctor is right, or I am. People can change, or they can't." And which do we find worse? Alfred asks. Batman then pulls up to the next crime scene, where we see that Killer Croc is actually broken into the Gotham Natural History Museum, leaving a trail of busted cars and broken concrete all the way to the front door. And as we see all these animal remains bloodied all over the ground, we get to see just how high-tech this version of Batman is, and it's actually super refreshing. Walking around analyzing the blood patterns with something called the Spectra lens, talking to an AI version of Alfred, it feels very Iron Man, and I kinda like it. Once again, Batman follows the trail inside and sees a mother and daughter hiding behind a single cop holding a gun on Killer Croc as he sits around looking at all the fossils and butterflies. The cop calls in for backup. Please, he says, I have 2 civilians with me, and he's here, he's just sitting here, and I don't know what to do. The little girl hugs her mom and then turns up and looks with tears in her eyes, relieved to see Batman. Bruce puts a hand over the cop's mouth and says, the gun is scaring the child and would only make Croc mad. Now quickly, quietly, get the civilians out of here and contact Dr. Zeller at Arkham Towers. Do not call the police. Why? He asks. What are you gonna do? Then we see another display of this Batman tech as he charges up his electric-powered bat gauntlets, saying, I'm gonna strike a little terror into his heart. Croc then turns around, raging, still holding the leg of some animal he killed earlier. And just when you think there's gonna be a huge fight, Batman eggs him on, saying, come on, Croc, let's get this over with. And Croc doesn't, just huffs and puffs until Batman powers down. And Croc continues eating, saying, in broken English, you bad, so go. And it's very bizarre. It's like Iron Man walking up on the Hulk. 2 very different versions of these characters, and again, I know certain people are going to be resistant to it, but I kind of like the change. It feels very refreshing. It's like I don't know what I'm reading or know what to expect for the first time. Just then, AI Alfred walks onto the scene. Master Bruce, what if this Dr. Zeller is correct? Some creatures do, in fact, change. What if some eternal cycle has begun within him, and even if only for this moment, he's become something like a child, alone, in a violent, terrible world he can't understand, drowning in fear. Obviously, Bruce starts to connect the dots and realize who he's talking about. If it's as you say, Alfred continues, and no one ever really changes, Master Bruce, then surely you know how that feels. And then Bruce takes off the cowl and sits next to him, saying, you know, Waylon, I used to have one of these in my house. And then we realize they're looking at a dinosaur statue. As Croc says, big house. And Bruce continues looking up with a smile, saying, yeah, it was. And Croc notices his cowl's off. You head new now. He then chucks the bone into the air. Me head new, but bad now. Lost. He then lets out a burp and says, I ate the zoo. And Bruce, still looking up, says, I know you did, buddy. I know. And Croc looks back up, saying, him head like me up there. And Bruce, noticing the crown, says, how so? You mean a king? No, Croc says, pointing. Mean bad. Scary. Hungry. He then holds his own head. Can't think. Head bad. Maybe I am bad. Just then, Dr. Zeller arrives. Hello, Waylon. And she holds a dinosaur toy in her hand. I came to help. Do you want my help? Would you like to come home? Head bad, he says. Made home bad. Am bad. You made a bad choice, Waylon. Now you can make a good choice. Come home. Let me help you. And he hesitates before Croc says, okay. And as they escort him off, Croc turns back to Batman, saying, home now. She helped. And he actually walks back towards Batman and says, who help you? My head is okay, Waylon. I don't need help. And Croc hands him the dinosaur, saying, if you say so, before Batman's left, standing there alone in the silence, holding a dinosaur toy. He then heads home to his new home on the Upper West Side of Gotham called the Pennyworth Manor in his brand new Batcave before taking his cowl off and replacing the old iconic dinosaur in the old Batcave with the new one that he got from a villain who's changed. He puts it up on a shelf and says, some trophy. And man, what a first issue, like just so different and so unique, so short and sweet. You know, there was more to this issue, I'll admit, that I just left out. That, you know, this is coming off whatever happened in the last series that I honestly didn't read, so I wasn't even gonna touch on any of that. I have no idea what the direction of this series is so far, but I just love those little touches, the intimacy of it, and the fact that there's heart. You know, there was obviously just a very quick mini arc that Bruce went through, starting out very cynical and then having a heart-to-heart with one of his villains. But I'm curious, are we gonna see more of a difference in Bruce's personality throughout the series, like going forward? I would love that, because this is just such a side of Batman that you don't often see, and I feel like I'm not alone in you know, being one of the many people that's asked for this time and time again. Like, I love it. So if you want the full thing, like I said, I cut a lot out. Go ahead and check this issue out for yourself. If you have read it, let me know what you thought down in the comments below. I really love what Matt Fraction did. I love the art, love the coloring, just the overall vision for the book, and this very tech-heavy version of Batman with the blue, just so refreshing, so cool. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. That is the video.